Reading. Let's begin just by putting aside everything that's been going on today and just taking a deep breath and letting it out very slowly. Just for a few minutes, just relax, listen to the reading, and then afterwards you can see what you think about it, see how it goes, in other words. So here's the reading. It's called Creating Heaven on Earth. First quote is from the Middle Ages mystic Meister Eckhart, who said a lot of things that the Catholic Church thought were controversial. However, in this context, he says, the eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me. Actually, the whole quote says, my eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. And we'll see what this means as we go through the reading. Ernest Holmes said it slightly differently. He said, every longing and yearning you have ever had, every secret desire of your soul, every constructive ambition is a whispering of this life, assuring you that you are one with it. And that was in This Thing Called Life on page 19. And of course, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And we'll see how that ties in here. And this is Rev Ron Fox. He says, the only thing that obscures heaven is our lack of faith. We attract what's in our life. If your life isn't what you want it to be, you think it's the luck of the draw. You believe you have no control. Dan Millman says free will is both a blessing and a curse. Our future is determined by the choices we make. While we may not be able to determine our circumstances, we can control our responses. We create our own heaven on earth when we plant seeds of love, beauty, forgiveness, and compassion. Ernest Holmes tells us that what we put our attention on is what we manifest. Take some time today to ask yourself where you put your attention. Is this the life you want to create? Is this the kind of person you wish to become? Jack Cornfield tells of a time when he sat with his dying father. His dad had been abusive, but they had made peace. His dad was afraid of dying, so Jack Cornfield stayed with him and held his hand. This is what he learned, quote, perhaps this is the best we can do, to help when we can, to witness each other with kindness, to offer our presence, to show the trust we have in life. Spiritual life is not about knowing much, but about loving much. As I said, that was Jack Cornfield. And this is Rev Ron Fox. He says, spiritual life sounds a lot like heaven to me. What do you think? The thing is that what Ernest Holmes is saying, what Meister Eckhart is saying, what Jack Cornfield is saying, what Reverend Ron Fox and the others are saying is in essence true. That we have the ability within ourselves, with our beliefs, to create what we want. But the opposite isn't necessarily something that we tell people, because if you say, hey, what you think about is what you bring about, or what you believe is what you bring about, it doesn't all happen at the conscious level. So we never point the finger at someone and say, hey, you're to blame for all of your life circumstances. No, that is spiritual malpractice. It's malfeasance. It's not something that you do. Why? Because from when we're born, or perhaps even before we're born, we're taking in lots and lots of information and beliefs. And until we reach an age where we're able to discern what is right and what is wrong, what is sensible and what is not sensible, we just take all this stuff in. And a lot of it remains stuck in our subconscious minds. And they become beliefs. And they become beliefs at a subconscious level. And when they become beliefs at a subconscious level, then we tend to start attracting according to them. But we're not doing it consciously. I don't think anybody on the planet, or at least I can't imagine anybody on the planet who wants to attract crud into their lives. Maybe there are some people, but if there are, then they're mentally disturbed. But there is no sane person wants to attract stuff in their lives, and yet people do attract stuff into their lives. And the reason is because a lot of it's going on at a subconscious level, and it's going on at more than one subconscious level. It's going on at the group human subconscious level. So in addition to our own subconscious beliefs, there's the subconscious belief system of the whole human race, and that's also impacting us. So it's never, ever, ever any good to point a finger at someone and say, hey, how did you attract this in your life? No, that's spiritual malpractice, because it's just not true. Because as I said, unless somebody's mentally disturbed, nobody wants to attract stuff in their life that's not good. However, we can consciously control what we want to put into our subconscious minds and what we want to attract in our lives. We have the ability to consciously do that. There's a lot of quotes you've heard in the past, or maybe you haven't, but we do have this ability through our thoughts and our feelings, which equal our beliefs. So the opposite is definitely true, that on a conscious level, we can actually attract good stuff in where there may not have been good stuff before. So this is my interpretation of all this. There's lots of similar quotes all around. As I said, Jesus said, hey, two things. It's done as you believe, and the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God is within you. So we often have to look inside ourselves for the answers. Many mystics have said, hey, if you want to see God, look inside yourself. You know, Rumi actually, and it was a 13th century Sufi mystic. The Sufis are the mystics of Islam. Says, I looked in temples, churches and mosques, but I found the divine within my heart. So often we look outside for solutions when there are solutions inside. That being said, we do need to support each other. I found out this morning, I had a friend who had gone in hospital. I mean, it was kind of sudden. So I ended up having some spare time late morning, and I went to see him. And I know he feels better. And another of my colleagues from the Woodlands Chamber of Commerce also went in to see him. So he was really grateful for the visits because he wasn't in a mood to read. He didn't have the TV on, and I can relate to that. I wouldn't have probably put the TV on either. He was looking at his phone occasionally just for the texts that were coming in, like text of support mostly. So he was really appreciative of visitors. So another thing we can do, and how do you feel when you go out and you help somebody, like the hospital visit, or helping somebody push a car out of a ditch, or just helping somebody in the store with a shopping basket, whatever it is? Not only do you make them feel good because somebody noticed they needed help and they got it, but I'll bet you this, I'll bet you feel good yourself, right? When you do things like that. So, hey, this is my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at 5 o'clock. Reverend Lisa, my colleague, will be back on Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page at, let me see, 9:15 in the morning. And I'll be wherever you see me on social media, wherever it turns out to be, probably on some Facebook, my Facebook page, Creative Life's Facebook page, Instagram, or Blue Sky, Tumblr, Threads. Let's see, what else is there? A couple more, I've forgotten them. Anyway, there they are. All right. Now, Reverend Ron has given us 3 affirmations. How about that? 3 for the price of 1. In this moment, I can create heaven wherever I am. In this moment, I can create heaven wherever I am. In every moment, I can choose love, peace, and compassion. In every moment, I can choose love, peace, and compassion. Then he says, as I do this, I create my own heaven on earth. As I do this, I create my own heaven on earth. And it's a pretty good message today. It's uplifting. But as I said, we never ever point the finger and say, how did you bring that into your life? No, that's just not valid at all. But we do say, if you wish to change your circumstances, change your thoughts and your feelings, and you will change your circumstances. So, until next time, this is my prayer for today, knowing that each and every one of you attracts into your life those things which bring you peace, love, joy, and bring peace, love, and joy to those around you and to the world in general. And I'll let my prayer go into the divine, knowing that God will respond because it always does. And so it is.